Hey guys, the Monk52 here of course, and today we're discussing the P.Heinrich. So jump into right here, modules, secondary battery mod, propulsion mod, concealment mod if you can get it. Propulsion mod is usually good, secondary is what you really want to focus for. The hull upgrade recommended first, then the range, then the engine. The hull gives you more secondary range. It's a bit of a bug there, so just be aware of that. If you take a look at our current thing, take it off here real quick, take a look at our secondary range, 9.4 with our build, which we'll discuss later. You pop it back on, for some odd reason it just jumps up to secondary range to 10.2, which is the theoretical max of the build because we have a maxed out Von Hipper. They hit a tad harder than guys now and have a longer reload. As you can see, the more rear face you can see quite well protected, oddly enough. It's very difficult to see with a CC camera, so maybe take that off. Just see just below that, just in between the gun turrets there, just the back end of the bow, either side next to that small radiator looking thing there. So yeah, you get 4 launchers as well, 2x4, which is not bad. A is nothing really to laugh at, nothing really to, well, plenty to laugh at, not very good, and speed is just on the slow side. You get your sonar, you get from the Mackinson, the 5.4km sonar, you get more heels, and a bit of a camouflage flash back on. Commander choice is Megatron if you have him. Revocation protocol for the fire duration by 20%. That is really the only reason we're using Megatron here. And obviously Brawler perks here of secondary focus, Haruna and Pepper. If you don't have Megatron, Clara is a very good choice, and her main skill Boomstick's really good because you have Battlecruiser dispersion, so you actually don't mind losing on the negative trait, the 10% shell grouping, because you have Battlecruiser dispersion, which is one of the most accurate types of dispersion we can get, besides obviously cruisers and destroyers, but not bad. Fire is very useful again, because you can run, because of limited damage control, so base trait's useful, and again for the secondary spec. If you're completely free to play, the auto celiacs is a good option here with a for a focus bit here, because that's really the best option. Again, secondary spec, really, you could run, you should see the other guy for fire chance, kind of working into that fire with fire, but I don't think it's worth it because you're not often triple set, it's kind of rare, so I just think building into your A a little bit will just help the Sky Cancer feel a bit less bearable, you know, a bit more bearable, just slightly, partially. Not really, but hey, we never know. Porcupine Agon, I saw all the mass mechanic and all that malarkey. Inspiration, Von Hipper if you have him, and then Hans Gesler for the secondary battery reload time, again for completely free to play. Kedrov, you can use Kedrov. I'm looking for my brawlers, so I've got a different build for this, but hey, you know, do whatever you find the boat lacks. Terms of armor is actually really bad. It looks good, but it's actually really bad. That's quite a big nose, 25mm nose that's overmatched by everything at tier 6, because that's how all battleships at tier 6 work. You've got a pretty decent superstructure, you got no resemblance to a turtle pack, quite a easy citadel, quite a rough boat to fight in terms of giving broadside. You would really want to angle your best as you can. You've got a good armor belt, so you need to use your armor belt to angle. If you give any resemblance to broadside, you get slapped. The problem with having high armor per se means that you get penned easily, so no chance of overpen. Tens of hit points, it says it's frail, but again it's not really accurate because the Gneisenau has only got partially slightly more health, so really not much, but it's also nice. It's really nice having those heals and the limited damage controls. You need to play that very, very smart. So yeah, that's pretty much how you're comparing it there as well. You also get an extra gun over Gneisenau because screw you Gneisenau apparently. So yeah, bit rough on the Gneisenau part, but maybe they have more pen, I'm not sure. Secondaries have special characteristics. The 150s pen 37, the 105s pen 20mm, and the 88s pen 15. So not bad at all. Anyway, jumping into the match here, as you can see, we're actually in a division with a Miyoko friend of mine. He was streaming and joined the bin. I like to join people's streams and help them out and see how things are going. You know, always good to contribute a bit more to the community. You know, that's what I do, or say what I aspire to do. Torpedo angles, despite being rear faced, pretty good, similar to Odin, but maybe slightly better, I'm not sure. Guns are good in terms of battlecruiser dispersion, but the penetration is pretty bad, so just be aware of that. You may have 15-inch guns, but again, your penetration is laughable, so just be aware of that. I don't need to know. I've just from playing the boat enough, I know that the penetration is really bad. So don't expect too many citadels unless you've got a boat that's like literally has an exposed citadel. Something British, possibly. That's probably the only chance of it here. So yeah, How we play Heinrich is similar to the other battlecruisers of the line, but the difference is you have torpedoes, so you can be a bit more aggressive at the right time. But these torpedoes are more for defense, not really for aggression, unless obviously sometimes defense is the best offense. But you know what I mean, you're not going out your way to use them. But if you're in a situation where you can use them, and if you don't kill the target that's not, you're gonna die, then yeah, 100% use them. But you really want to be not picking fights. You want to get yourself in a secondary range of targets and just let the secondaries do most of the work, honestly. Main battery guns are good, as you saw. Battlecruiser dispersion, we'll prove this in a minute. But the main bread and butter of these boats is honestly my secondaries. Your main battery guns are always good, and they're still the main battery guns, but they did a great job complementing what your secondaries are doing. So you can fire HE, just make sure you've got the fire set on the boats and whittle them down. You can fire the AP if you can catch them broadside and get a decent salvo. You can see this New Mexico. Our penetration is not very good, so we're probably not going to get any citadels in New Mexico, but we should get some penetrations and something decent. As you can see, accuracy is pretty good for a German battleship. As you can see, we do get 3 penetrations and overpen for 11k. If there was any other boat, potentially citadels, but again, our penetration is not the best. You can also carefully quite comfortably rush down DDs using the sonar and the secondary consumable. You've got improved accuracy on your secondaries, the entire battlecruiser line, which is also again very good. Really highlights the point your secondaries are mostly your bread and butter. The green guns are great and all, but when you complement to the secondaries, you're really getting quite a nasty situation here. See, not bad results there, but as you can see, if this was anything else, you'd probably get a plunging fire into the citadel or some really meatier pens. So 23k of 2 salvos from those shots would be nice. It's okay, but yeah. Anyway, as you can see, our secondaries are running here. We've got a secondary consumable active, just maybe a tad early, but we've got secondaries running, sonar running, sorry. We're just going to blap the bejeebus out of this man here, because our secondary power go burr. And also the main battery guns as well also help us out. We could switch to HE, but honestly, I'm pretty comfortable to say this Gennady doesn't have too much longer for this world, so I don't think we need to. We're running sonar, so we don't mind giving him flat broadside. We can see where the things are. Plus, we've got a friendly Huga as well, which means we've got a good chance of being Mr. Presidented. We don't actually need to worry about it. So yeah, secondaries take him out, enhanced secondary accuracy, and you can see that's already a Gennady down. A lot of good battle influence done there, and you can see, yeah, that's the power of secondaries and the sonar consumable together, pretty much very good. So yeah, get some more hits on New Mexico. He's giving somewhat resemblance to the broadside there. We only hit 1 gun here, but it's still German. I'm going to highlight that, but it's still pretty good considering it's German. The biggest issue I see when people play these higher tier, even the lower tier ones, is they're just straight up too aggressive. We need to play this carefully and cautiously, and you want to really single out targets and try and mitigate as much as damage you can take as possible, because you really need to hold out for the longer the game, because that's when you have time to get your secondaries to do work and even your main battery guns as well. So yeah, the reason we push that is we've got a Huga, we've got a division mate behind us, and we know it's just a Gennady, so that's why we pushed that cap here, and that's why we're being aggressive here. But if it was a data layer situation where there's more than 2 battleships potentially, you need to play it very carefully. This is a very fragile boat. It doesn't seem like it in terms of the armor scheme initially, but it's a very fragile boat. Also as well, the rear turret as well, one of the rear turrets is 360, which is quite nice, but the other turret isn't. So when you're turning your boat, you're probably firing 3 guns at a time, maybe 2, but you're rarely firing all 4, because the turret burst is a little bit meh. Again, the Kedrov pick for inspiration might not be a bad idea, the more you think about it, but yeah. We got to watch out for Normandy, because we're kind of giving him somewhat of a flat broadside, so we need to try and avoid him. We've just crossed the island here. We just crossed the island that was giving us cover from this man, so we're going to see if we can mitigate that and just try and angle out. We do go dark, which is nice, but he did take the opportunity to take a pot shot at us. And Normandy's got no joke, pretty spicy pen. We do bounce it though, quite a lucky shot there. The luck being we actually bounced it. You really want to be having targets hit your armor belt, and we have a traffic collision there. You want them to hit your armor belt and not your vulnerable bow and stern, and of course your superstructure. And giving broadside is just a death sentence, because they're guaranteed pens. It's extremely rare you'll actually get overpenned. Normandy is looks like he's really gunning for us, and he certainly is this entire game. We do go dark, which is always nice. Again, we don't have to be super aggressive. You want to close the distance, but not get suicidal ranges. You really want your secondaries to just let them do the work, and you really builds up the damage. Secondaries do quite a bit of damage, and honestly, most of my shots, most of my damage, I think, comes from my secondaries. I could be wrong about this. I'd love to get a more detailed report on some of the damage that I do. But you can see decent hits there. 2 overpans, 1 shatter on the Bayern. Bayern's a tough boat, so yeah, understandable. But as you can see, we're pushing in here. We're island cover, protecting us from those 2 battleships. You really want to be a slow push. Use slow push or even just straight up kiting as well with the Heinrich. You really don't want to get yourself over invested, over committed. You want to get yourself in a position where you can use island cover and mitigate all people shooting at you. You want to be focusing on 1 target at a time. It's not like the Gunisen now where you can just go full send, double torp things. You have the armor to withstand it. It's not the case. You don't have the turtle black armor protection. You're going to get slapped. You need to play this very carefully. We're going to harass the Fisso a little bit. I'm really turning my boat here just to get more secondaries on him. Yukikaze pops in. Obviously, we instantly switch targets here. Priority target on this thing. We send some torps. Again, torps are more defensive in this boat. And same with the Heinrich and the Zeton. Sorry, same with the Zeton actually. Because this is only ones that's tier 6 and 7 have those. Of course, the tier 8 we don't have yet, but there are the options. And we're just letting our secondaries do their job. He's already fired sets of torpedoes at somewhere else. I believe that was our destroyer there maybe. And yeah, he's just going to get secondary down, and that's pretty much it. We do kill him with main battery guns though, but hey, it really doesn't matter as long as we kill him. Sonar is not available for 20 per second, but we know he's sending torps elsewhere, so we actually don't need to worry about them, which is nice. And we're just going to start harassing this Fisso. You can see we've already set a fire, and if you pay attention to the small numbers every time we hit that boat, you'd be surprised the damage really adds up. You know, we've done a fair amount of damage. We've basically killed 2 destroyers with the secondaries, and we've done some really good work on that Fisso setting the fire. Fire damage is quite nice, quite destructive, very powerful in this game, as you know. And the penetration values are no joke. That's another fire in the Fisso as well. AL Fisso, if you have her as well, good inspiration for fires, but I just like the additional accuracy. It's really whatever you want to run with, honestly, but I just like the additional accuracy. It just does help me out, because you've got decent pen values as well. You've got 1/4 pen for the 150s, you've got 20mm penetration for the 105s, and for the 80 you've got 50mm, which is not much at higher tiers, but at lower tiers the destroyers don't have 90mm plating, so you can actually do that perfectly fine. Plus, they do away with the 88mm guns afterwards, so it's mostly just 150s and 105s. So yeah, not bad at all. Carrier surprisingly has not gone for us, which is quite nice, but may speak too soon, we'll have to see. And you can see we're using island cover just to mitigate all the damage we're taking. We're going by on to Normandy here. Normandy only has 14-inch guns, which means they can't overmatch our bow, which is 25mm, but even so, I would like to present an angle more than that, but hey, I'll deal with the cards I'm given. I'm basically I need the cycle right now to push my efforts on Bayern. Now, if I get a good gun salvo, I could probably kill Bayern along the secondaries helping out. So let's see what we can do here. Okay, we do actually kill Bayern. That's very good, which means we can focus our efforts towards Nagato while slightly kind of tanking the Normandy. Oh, there we go. Carrier's coming in, getting involved with us. That's not good. I can see we've got our 3 damage controls. We've not burned anything. We're using the Megatron skill here, the 20% fire duration reduction to help us out. And fortunately, we have a Tiger, which obviously cannot set us on fire unless we get the secondary range. Also, 15-inch guns overmatch the entirety of Tiger. It's a shame. I don't want to shoot the Tiger because it's a Tiger. It's the best ship in the game. Yeah, we missed the shot anyway. So we're just going to harass this Nagato. I really don't think much of Nagato's even now with the buffs. They're kind of a tough ship to fight, tough ship to play, honestly. Now we've lost about half our health, by the way. We've got some heals popping and cooldown soon, but it's going to go down. It's not going to go higher up. And we're just going to harass the living crap out of this Nagato. We can use our consumable here as soon as it gets off cooldown, pop our next heal, and just keep an angle against Nagato in case he decides to shoot us, which he really should be, but hey, he's got other targets, I guess, and that's perfectly fine by me. Realistically, you know, we can tank a little bit of HE, but the Nagato 16-inch guns will hurt us pretty bad, so this could be a completely different situation here. We actually pick up high caliber off our secondary battery hits, which is quite nice. Could be a different situation here if Nagato was being somewhat aggressive. This kiting playstyle here is okay, but he's not focusing on us, which is really, really good. So this is really good, the optimal position you want to be. You don't want to be in secondary range of the target, just harassing with your AP or HE, whatever it is, doing the best for you. If it's heavily armored target, obviously the HE will be better. Nagato is coded in 25mm, so the AP will do more, even with our kind of questionable pen. The carrier shows up, which is very interesting, which means we need to try and finish off this Nagato. He does go down, which is a shame. We are actually on 4 kills, so we didn't do that. Carrier's giving us some grief. Decisions. What's the best thing to kill right now? Is probably the Tiger. So we'll take a shot on Tiger here. It looks like this Tiger is generally a good player because, you know, again, Tiger's a pretty good boat. I can't stress that enough. Pretty spicy boat. And he does actually dodges here, which is a bit of a shame. Normandy is becoming a bit of a threat. And as much as I want to shoot the carrier, the Normandy's more of a threat immediately because I can't actually kill the carrier, but I can do some permanent damage to Normandy while I'm shooting the Tiger. So there's the best boat for us there. I'd like to get more of a flat angle so I can shoot both the Vesser and the Tiger and the Normandy, but hey, I want to use as much as the secondary as possible to hit the Normandy right now. And we actually Citadel the Tiger here because you get flat broadside, just a little bit caught unaware. Do pick up a Kraken, which is really good. We're down to 5k health. We have a heal proccing though, which is really good. Again, we don't have Wilter build here. We just have Fight Fire Fire, which again reduces our fire damage by even more, which is always good. And we're just going to focus our efforts on secondarying down this Normandy, which means opening up our angle a little bit, just enough that we can get more and more secondaries firing. Again, complement them with our main battery guns, which we're going to do, you know, a fairly decent chunk there, as you can see. And we're doing some really spicy damage to this Normandy. I think he's getting whittled down by the rest of the team too, but as you can see, our angling is actually really good, and we're bouncing quite a lot of shells from Normandy as well, so it's helping us out. Carrier is obviously going to harass us because we're the best target for him, but thankfully we actually have a division mate Miyoko behind us. It's a Japanese cruiser, so it really doesn't have much AA, but hey, it's better than nothing at this point. Down to 7k health, and as much as I want to finish off the Vesa, which I think we could, we reach 1,000 points, and we're just going to have to settle for 6 kills. So yeah, pretty fun game, 140k, fair amount of secondary hits, nearly 200, 6 kills, 2.9k XP, and yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed as always. You know, have a wonderful day guys, and I'll catch you on the flip side. If you haven't already, by the way, press subscribe, try and get to 2k, so yeah, it really would mean a lot. We can get our montage video out, and we'll get a fun experience for you all guys to enjoy. So yeah, if you haven't already, see you next time, have a wonderful day, bye.